Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Potato, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, it was quite a weekend, wasn't it? It was quite a weekend on the Amberlynn Reed corner of the internet because Destiny is just being Destiny. She's playing the game, and she's being Destiny, and she brought a lot of y'all some entertainment on Saturday night. So I'm here to break down all the Destiny live streams. I do know that Amberlynn has since posted, well, before that live stream, I think she posted a video Saturday morning, which I probably won't fully react to at any point, but still haven't watched, just as a preface. And then I know this morning she uploaded a video too, but I know a lot of people want my thoughts on the old Amberlynn phone call with Destiny situation type of deal, so that's what we're going to talk about today. And then I'll get to Amberlynn's other videos and stuff like that as soon as I can. I mean, we got all the time in the world, don't we, besties? So if you were enjoying your weekend like I was and you have no idea what the Destiny and Amberlynn Reed phone call was, let me let you know. So Destiny went live. She actually has 3 separate live streams from Saturday evening. I think she was having some technical issues where her live stream was just stopping, or she clicked the wrong button or something like that. To be quite honest with you, the first one and the majority of the second live stream were all pretty much what you would come to expect at this point from a Destiny live stream. It's not her going through her notes that she's taken about videos that she's been in or anything like that. It's just her sitting there answering people's questions, and most of her responses to everything are like, I don't know, maybe, but it sounds like something she could do. It's like she was being asked questions about, obviously things that Destiny can't even speak to anyways, and so I think people were like, this is annoying, you're not sharing anything that is particularly interesting or anything like that. So if you want to skip the majority, all of the very first one and the majority of the second one, I think you'll be fine. At the end, or towards the end of the second one that was called Don't Know What Happened, the Don't Know What Happened referring to she didn't know why the first live stream stopped working. The end of that one, around the 43-minute mark, is where the interaction with Amberlynn starts, and that's what's going to be important for you to know as we go into the live stream that was entirely dedicated to talking to Amberlynn on the phone. So at that point in the live stream, Destiny goes to check her phone and sees that she got a message from Amberlynn on Facebook, and allegedly, I guess Amberlynn had Destiny blocked on Facebook, but unblocked her just so she could tell Destiny to stop talking about her mom. And just the real quick didn't watch on that is that Destiny had answered some kind of question related to Amberlynn's mom, mentioned that Amberlynn's mom had been in prison for drug-related stuff. I think that's pretty much the long and short of it. I think the original question was asking something about whether or not Amberlynn's mom had done something to a service animal, but Destiny didn't say yes or no, and mostly talked about knowing that her mom was in prison for drug-related things. Which, mind you, because this might be important later, but mind you, those are all things that Amberlynn herself has shared about her own mom on her own channel. So Destiny decides, let me just try calling Amberlynn right now while I'm live streaming, because obviously she's watching, maybe she'll want to have a conversation. And after that initial call, Amberlynn does not pick up, and Destiny's like, yeah, I didn't figure she would, I just thought I would see. And then Destiny goes on to talk about some other things until towards the end of the live stream, Amberlynn does actually call Destiny back and claims she didn't know that Destiny was live.
What do you want?
Nothing, I was just on live and I thought I'd give you a call. What are you doing?
I don't think that's, I just made a smoothie. You don't think that's a little weird?
I know you're watching.
I'm literally not.
Okay.
I didn't even know you were live.
And like most things, when Amberlynn allegedly doesn't watch somebody, she says that it was just somebody on Instagram messaged her and told her Destiny was saying all of these things.
I know that you were watching because you literally messaged me on Facebook saying that I was talking about your mom. So what do you mean?
Someone messaged me on Instagram and said that you're talking about my mom in prison.
I didn't.
Okay, and I'm just letting you know my mom has nothing to do with YouTube, so just keep her out of your mouth.
But you talked about my mom.
Respectfully. Because you brought her up, honey.
It's the same thing.
And I just have to say, from my own personal experience, when it comes to Amberlynn seeing things in my video, reaching out to me about things she saw in my video, but yet claiming she doesn't watch my videos, is that any time that she says somebody messaged her on Instagram, that's what she really means, is that she was watching the video. It had literally happened with me just recently, like right before she blocked me on Instagram. So, sorry, I don't believe that somebody is just Instagramming you about all of these very specific things. I mean, it's possible that she does get some Instagrams about it, but like, I fully believe homegirl was like there watching Destiny's live stream. And Destiny does bring up, like, so basically she's her response to Amberlynn being upset that she brought up Amberlynn's mom is like, hey girly, like, you talk about my mom all the time as well, like, it's fine. I think it's okay that I mentioned your mom for like 2 seconds. Amberlynn does say like, well, my mom's not connected to YouTube in the same way. I also was only talking about your mom because I was defending myself because you brought up the fact that your mom beat me up. But like I already said, let's be very clear that Amberlynn has brought up her mom in this context of prison and things like that many times on her channel, many times. And so like, I get that it's not exactly the same scenario, but at this point, I don't understand why Amberlynn is surprised that people might be talking about it when it's something that Amberlynn talks about so frequently on her own channel. There's one point during this live stream where Destiny asked Amberlynn, like, why Amberlynn is blaming Destiny for her not getting weight loss surgery.
Why are you saying it's my fault you didn't get weight loss surgery?
I didn't say that. I haven't even spoken about weight loss surgery in like a hot minute.
Well, people are saying that you said it's my fault because you, I guess, regressed.
And she does ask this again in the next live stream too, or like talks about this topic in the next live stream too. And so I don't really want to put this out there at this point to talk about whether or not Amberlynn is or isn't getting weight loss surgery and whose fault that may or may not be. I just want this to be like the first sign of a problem that both Destiny and Amberlynn have when it comes to people telling them about things that other people said or did, which is that both Amberlynn and Destiny just automatically believe the people who they view as supporters when it comes to them saying something negative about somebody they don't like. And they don't do any of their own research or just like watch the other people's videos or whoever, whatever, to find out if that's true or not. Amberlynn is a big violator of this. Amberlynn does it a lot where she hates when people start rumors and lies about her, but will automatically believe anything she's told by other people about people she doesn't like. Like, that's happened with me, for instance, where people have told her things. It just happened most recently right before I got blocked on Instagram, where she was lying about stuff that I said about Life Plus Cindy and what people told her that I said about Life Plus Cindy and things like that. And I just think it comes up again later in the live stream specifically for Amberlynn, but also, like, Destiny didn't even watch these videos to know if that's something Amberlynn did or didn't say. She was just taking whatever people said in the chat and believing it. And there's also a weird part of this particular part of the live stream where Amber asks if Destiny's fiance thinks it's weird that her YouTube presence is all about Amberlynn.
But doesn't your fiance think it's weird that, like, your whole YouTube presence is, like, revolved around your ex?
I don't know, baby. Do you think it's weird?
And honestly, I feel like fiance number 3 and her brand new Kindle that she got from Destiny's YouTube money are just fine. But I do actually think it's a little weird that she just sat there on her Kindle while Destiny talked on the phone all night with her ex-girlfriend. But at the same time, I think it's also weird that Wifey has sat next to Amberlynn in hour-long live streams where Amberlynn ranted and raved about Destiny. And I also think it's weird that Amberlynn spent nearly 2 years of the first part of her relationship with Becky being in love with Destiny still. I think it's all weird. I think y'all are fucking weird. I will say though, Amberlynn does later point out the Kindle purchase for fiance number 3.
Like, is that how you bought her a Kindle? With that money? Is that what's up?
Yeah, actually it is. I don't care.
I figured as much.
Yeah, see, you've been watching. If you knew I got her a Kindle, you've been watching the live. Don't fucking lie.
No, I literally have people who message me. Like, I should show you my Instagram DMs. It is off the chain.
And it is important that she's bringing it up because you want to know where Amberlynn heard that from, allegedly. Them Instagram DMs. Like, girl, get a fucking grip. You literally have people on your Instagram DMs giving you a play-by-play of every little thing in Destiny's live stream. You are so goofy. At that point, even if you're not watching the live stream, you may as well be if that's the case. And then finally, right at the end of this particular live stream, Amberlynn tries to give Destiny some tips on how to heal in a healthy way.
I just think it's really weird. It's very, like, money hungry. If you need to heal, I have a really good therapist. I can give you their number.
No, thank you.
Well, I'm just saying, that's, like, a good way to heal. It's, like, do it, like, in a healthy way, but I feel like this is very, very unhealthy.
I was just like, excuse me, bitch. Like, what? Since when are you the expert on any kind of healthy healing and coping or anything like that? Like, you only just recently started going to this current therapist that you're going with to begin with. You know what I'm saying? You are not an expert, nor should you be giving anybody advice on how to heal in a healthy way, because we've watched you on YouTube for years not healing in a healthy way. And she also really weaponizes her mental health in both the end of this stream and the very beginning of the next stream, and it pisses me off.
And I feel like you're just doing that for money, and it's hurting me. Like, you're not hurting me, but I'm just saying the reaction that the audience is giving is like, it has messed with my mental health a little bit. That's apparent. And you know what you're doing. And it's all for money, and it's kind of scary. And I didn't think you were that type of person. And then you sit there and you say, Amberlynn is a good person, but she has her attitude that gets in the way. Have you ever thought of, like, mental illness is a problem?
What?
My mental illness gets in the way of a lot.
So just like, hold up for a second here, Amberlynn. You want Destiny to find a healthier way to heal from her experiences of having to live with you, date you, whoever, whatever. But then you want to excuse your bad behavior as just like, oh, that's just my mental illness. That's my mental health. No. No, bestie, absolutely not. Of course, our mental health and our mental illnesses and our diagnoses can help us understand why we do the things that we do. But, like, none of that excuses bad behavior, right? Like, and it's actually a disservice to the mental health community if, like, you are out here trying to advocate that, like, your bad behavior should be forgiven because of your mental health. Now, certainly, if I'm in a relationship, friendship, whoever, whatever, with another person, and they come out and say, like, hey, like, I did those bad things because I was not in a great place mentally. I'm working on those things. I'm trying to heal from those things. I'm happy to hear that. And I would definitely take that into account in any kind of, like, relationship I had with another human. But that wouldn't mean that, like, their behavior wasn't in poor taste, wasn't bad, wasn't incorrect. And so you can't just go out here saying, like, you shouldn't be getting upset about my mental health. Like, I have a bad attitude sometimes because I have mental health problems. No, like, you should be working on correcting that behavior and not continuing to have bad attitude and a bad behavior. So anyways, that stream ends up ending abruptly. Like, Destiny doesn't even say goodbye or anything, so I just assume that she clicked the wrong button or something again, and that's what happens. And then we come back to a stream titled ALR Phone Call, and they are in the middle of having a conversation when we get there. And one thing I want to note that is weird is that at the beginning of this conversation, Amberlynn is making this point to say that Destiny's getting, like, all of this praise from doing all of this.
Well, I haven't necessarily gotten good reactions.
Bullshit.
What good reactions have I got? As soon as I got on live, everyone said I got fat. So, you act like I'm getting all this praise.
You are. Literally everyone is following you. Team Destiny. Amberlynn's an abuser. Like, because of everything that you're saying.
And I just think it's interesting because literally also in that last live stream, she mentioned that nobody really liked Destiny and that they were mostly just watching Destiny so that they could get tea about somebody that they didn't like.
Destiny, look at the people who are watching you. They want one thing. Tea. They want you to say what I smell like, how much I eat. That's all they want from you. They don't like you. Like, no tea, no shade.
Which I don't think Amberlynn is entirely wrong about. I don't think people are going to be very invested in Destiny after she gets done sharing information about Amberlynn. But it does contradict her. It's like, do they hate Destiny or does everybody love Destiny? Like, I don't understand what you're trying to say here, Amberlynn. And like I just said, she does bring up her mental health again and tells Destiny that she has come to terms with how her mental health has made her manipulate other people.
You're a very manipulative person.
I have come to terms that my mental illness does make me manipulate in ways.
And actually, honestly, get the fuck out of here. Like, truly, your mental health is not an excuse for manipulative behaviors. Get out of here. Get out of here. And, like, it'd be one thing if she was like, oh, I feel like, you know, I was manipulative in the past because my mental health wasn't great and I've changed. But she's, like, literally saying it in a way that makes it sound like she's still using that as an excuse for how she manipulates people. I also want to point out that Destiny says that talking about Amberlynn stinking and calling her a sumo wrestler is just her playing the game.
Then what are you doing?
I'm healing.
This isn't healing. Laughing, calling me a sumo wrestler, telling me I stink? That's not healing.
That part's not.
Then what is that?
That's just playing the game.
What game is that?
Just giving the people what they want.
And I'm mostly including this because I've been saying that, like, Destiny for sure is doing aspects of this just to poke fun at Amberlynn, just to make some money, and it's clear that Destiny said it herself that is like what she's doing. I do also believe that her sharing about her experiences of living with Amberlynn and things like that could be a part of healing. It's like Amberlynn said both on Instagram and actually in this very live stream, two things can be true at once.
Two things can be happening at one time. You know that, right?
There's also a moment where Amberlynn decides to bring Destiny's brother into this whole situation as T.
And the fact that, like, your brother is in on this, like, what the fuck?
My brother's in on this. What do you mean?
You literally, like, back when I was watching your live streams, like, one you did a couple weeks ago, you said how Timothy is, like, your, like, guiding you or whatever.
He's like a wannabe manager. He doesn't actually do anything.
Like, how shitty is that? Like, do you want, like, I know T on him. Like, I know T on your whole fucking family times 12, but I'm not that person.
You have tea on my brother?
Yeah, he was a coke addict.
Oh my god.
And honestly, I think it's really fucked up that she's bringing Destiny's brother into the situation, bringing his substance abuse into the situation, especially on the heels of her getting upset about Destiny bringing up her mom being in prison when her mom is allegedly not connected to YouTube and things like that. When, like, Amberlynn's mom is way more connected to Amberlynn's YouTube channel than Destiny's brother is connected to anything about this Destiny situation. Like, I didn't even recall or remember Destiny bringing up that her brother wanted to be her manager or whatever for YouTube. Like, it was such a fleeting moment in the things that Destiny's talked about over the past few weeks on YouTube that, like, I didn't even remember it. So the fact that Amberlynn is, like, bringing this up out of nowhere, it's just, like, kind of fucked up to me. Not kind of fucked up, it is fucked up. And it's also fucked up because she's constantly out here comparing her food addiction to other people's addictions to substances that they can't control. And it's just like, do you really have any empathy for those people, any connection or understanding with those people? Because I think if you did, you would realize that like outing somebody's sobriety or lack of sobriety is not the most helpful thing to people who are struggling with those issues. So it's really fucked up that you see this as some kind of tea that you can hold against him, that you can hold against Destiny, just to win points on the internet. And while we're talking about Amberlynn bringing up shit that doesn't have anything to do with Destiny on the internet, she also brings up some stuff about Destiny's dad.
I was one of the first people you called when you found out that your dad was not your dad. Like, you forget how close we were, and you just, like, shoved that down the toilet.
And the amount of personal stuff that Amberlynn is sharing is just insane, to be honest. To go from that girl that would, like, never be that person. Like, she's repeatedly said that she would never spill tea about Destiny, that she's not that person, that she's this great human of a being. To go to this? Well, I was gonna say it doesn't make any sense, but it actually checks out. It checks out for Amber that she would say one day that she's not this person and then immediately go and be that person. And just wait, it's gonna continue happening. Because in fact, she immediately follows up being that person with claiming that nobody will ever know about the things that Becky put her through because she's allegedly not that kind of person.
You don't know what Becky put me through, and no one does. No one does, because I am not that person.
And then comes the moment where Amberlynn suddenly realizes that Destiny is in fact live streaming, and it's clear that Amberlynn didn't realize that Destiny was live streaming again.
You're obsessed with Karina Kaboom, who literally twists everything that I say.
What's wrong with Karina Kaboom? She's a nice lady.
You're kidding, right? She literally twists everything that I say to fit her narrative for her channel to make money.
She's gonna have a field day with this.
I didn't know that you were alive still. I wouldn't have talked about Becky. Oh my god, I fucking hate you.
No, it like froze and I had to get off, and then it finally went back on.
Oh my god, I did not know you were still alive. I would not have talked about Becky because I literally, like I said, I am respectful.
I don't want to hear it.
Oh, that's why you can be rude all of a sudden. Okay, it's making sense now.
That's not why I was being rude.
You were rude. Your tone shifted for sure.
And I will also say that Amberlynn did make a YouTube community tab post about this. I'll read it for you right now. She said, Destiny didn't tell me she was going back on live while on the phone with me, which is super deceptive. After she clicked off of live while we were still on the phone, she told me we weren't live anymore, talked a bit in private, and then she never told me that she went back on live again. So I had no idea we were live when I talked about her brother, dad, and Becky. Just wanted to make that very clear. It was kind of shitty and deceptive because I thought I was talking to her in private off of the live stream because that's what she told me. From the clip, she emphasized that she wouldn't have talked about Becky had she known that they were live streaming. And in that post, she emphasizes that she wouldn't have talked about Becky or Destiny's brother or dad, okay? So I just want to say that the brother and dad stuff didn't come out until after the fact. And I think actually, honestly, that's what most people were most upset about because, like, I think at this point, probably people just expect Amberlynn to talk about Becky, but, like, the dad and brother stuff was just really out of left field. And I will say, my feelings while I was watching the live stream is that it did seem like Amberlynn genuinely didn't know that they were live streaming, and it did seem like Destiny knew that she was being deceptive to Amberlynn because she kind of like chuckled about it whenever Amberlynn did realize. But I've got to say, with all that being said, I think that this is 100% who Amberlynn is when she's not on camera. I've actually said that recently when I was talking about her going back to vlogs after that little short-lived live stream moment that she was live streaming every day about Destiny. how she is on a live stream, on one of her own live streams, I should say, is different than who she is when she like films and edits and puts together what she wants us to see in a vlog. And all of those things are different than who she is when she thinks she's not being watched by her YouTube audience at all. And I don't really care if she thought she was being recorded or not, because I think it's fucked up that she would talk about Destiny's family like that, period. And so, you know what? Girl, I feel like you reap what you sow. And you had the audacity to even get in a phone call with your ex-girlfriend while she was live streaming to begin with. I certainly, honestly don't know what you really truly expected. And I have to say, this is also indicative of many conversations I've had over my time on YouTube with Amberlynn. She acts very different in the DMs than she does on her YouTube channel. And I'm just like tired of her acting like, you know, she's this like person in one setting and she's not in another. It was also interesting to me that she noted that she felt like Destiny had a tone shift in the phone call, because it honestly just felt like a lot of projection for me. It felt like she was just talking about herself, because her tone certainly did change once she realized she was on live stream. I also think it's interesting that she fully didn't like end the call at that point. Like, she continued to be on this live stream for another like 55 minutes. Okay, it was a very long phone call, and the second that I realized that I was being streamed to the internet without my knowledge, I probably would have hung the fuck up. And speaking of shutting the fuck up, Amberlynn says many times during this live stream that she just wants Destiny to stop talking about her and to move on.
I don't understand, like, what is happening? Like, I am just so beyond confused of any of this. I just want you to stop talking about me and just move on. There's nothing else to say, like, honestly.
And I do think that is a fair request for her to ask Destiny to do that, and I also think Destiny doesn't have to do that. Like, Destiny has, for the most part, been talking about her own experiences in relation to Amberlynn, and I think it's okay for her to share that if she wants. And just remember that Amberlynn has said many times that she wasn't going to respond to Destiny, that she wasn't going to give Destiny the time of day, the energy, the whoever, whatever, and she could make that choice. She could make the choice to not give Destiny further attention, energy, etc., but yet she does, okay? She does. And she does that by staying on live stream with her and having this phone call. Like, the live stream really did Amberlynn no favors. Amberlynn absolutely does not look like the better party at the end of all of this, in my opinion. And she really should have just, like, minded her business and not gotten on a phone call with Destiny. And just as a reminder, she's not that kind of person that she's gonna, like, spill sensitive tea about people.
Like, there's nothing, like, there are several things that I could obviously spill tea about, which I've chosen not to, because I'm not that person, and anything I've ever spoken of is because of what you've already said.
So I do just briefly want to talk about the reaction channels and Amberlynn's commentary about reaction channels. Up until this point, I've mostly just been going with the flow of, you know, how the live stream was happening and what was said in the live stream chronologically. But then off and on throughout the whole thing, she does spend some time talking about reaction channels, mostly because Karina Kaboom was in the chat and was, like, communicating, and, like, Destiny was, like, reading out what Karina was saying to Amberlynn. So since it, like, comes up every once in a while throughout the stream, I just figured we could talk about all of her commentary about the reaction channels all at once. And it starts with Amberlynn talking about the way that Karina allegedly twists the words of everything Amberlynn says to fit her narrative, which, again, feels like some projection from Amberlynn Reed. I don't know. I guess this is also a good time for me to say that for all intents and purposes, I don't watch other reaction channels, just because watching Amberlynn's content on my own once through for my own content is more than enough for me. It's no shade to anybody else. I just literally only have so much time in the world, and I choose to just watch Amberlynn's content and share with y'all. With the exception of when it feels relevant, like if Amberlynn is talking about somebody, occasionally I'll go research and see what it is. But even then, sometimes I'm like, I'm good, bestie. But imagining the way that Amberlynn talks about me and my content, I could see a world where Amberlynn is not being honest about any of the things that she's about to say in the upcoming reaction channel segment. And Amberlynn, unlike me, does watch reaction channels, but really wants to emphasize over and over and over again that she doesn't watch reaction channels, and mentions that, like, truly, the only one she never watches, allegedly, is Karina Kaboom.
Like, if you go to my history, I think that's one of the ones that, like, is the funniest to me. People think that I watch her, and, like, yeah, I used to watch some reaction channels, but she is literally probably the only one that I truly never watch.
Which, like, if you don't believe that she doesn't watch me, doesn't watch Jordy, doesn't watch whoever, whatever, then you probably shouldn't believe that she doesn't watch Karina. And you really probably shouldn't believe it because she was very actively watching Karina back during the live stream era, because that's kind of where Karina started getting really popular when it came to Amberlynn content, because Karina had the patience to sit through hours upon hours of live streams and edit them down to the interesting parts. And that was really irritating to Amberlynn at the time, because Amberlynn felt like people should have to watch all 3 hours of her live streams. She also took some time to mention that she feels like Apathetic Facts steals her content.
What do you got against Apathetic Facts? What is going on with that?
They steal my content. I don't want to get into that right now. They need to make their own content. I feel like they'd be good at it.
Oh, Apathetic Facts is on here too. You got something to say to them?
No, I'm honest to God, I feel like they would be good at making their own content, or like adding new like characters to the mix, like different YouTubers, like do like Shane Dawson, do some Trisha Paytas, like people that have more followers, and see what happens.
And I will say, in the past, I generally would somewhat agree with that. I don't entirely agree that Apathetic Facts in the past stole her content, but I have said in the past when Amberlynn struck Apathetic Facts that, like, I don't know, for me, it was like borderline on whether or not the content was transformative, because a lot of times it was just like the video straight through with like her added text on the screen and things like that. I will say, this is an example of when I was curious about what was going on with Apathetic Facts, because I hadn't checked in on their channel in a while, and they have absolutely upped the amount of editing they do and transformativeness of it all, in my opinion. And honestly, like, not that I want anybody to have to go through any, like, frivolous lawsuits or anything like that, but I feel like if Amberlynn really believes that Apathetic Facts is stealing her content, then she needs to just, like, push forward with the legal action to do that, because it's like put up or shut up for me, honestly. like you talk a big talk, Amberlynn, but like, what are we doing? What are we doing, bestie? So at one point during the stream, Amberlynn makes some kind of a comment about how she was just enjoying her Saturday with her girlfriend and she hadn't done any filming. I think it's because Destiny had, like, asked when her next video was going up, and Amberlynn was like, well, I don't know, like, I didn't film today. I've just been enjoying my Saturday with my girlfriend. And Karina makes a point to say, like, oh, it's so weird that you're just thoroughly enjoying your Saturday with your girlfriend, but yet here you are on the phone with your ex-girlfriend.
Karina said, amazing Saturday night for Amber to call her ex and discuss two of her exes.
See, this is perfect prime example of Karina Kaboom only seeing things in black and white, and only seeing things in Amberlynn's the bad guy, while Destiny is the one who she likes, supposedly, who is making content about her ex, who actually called her ex, who is sitting next to her fiance while doing it. So how does that make any sense? Like, so what she just said about me, she can say about you too, but she's not going to. That is the reaction channel community.
So, of course, Amberlynn misses the point and talks about how Karina is biased for pointing this out. But, like, Karina really isn't biased for pointing this out. Like, yes, it's weird that fiancé number 3 is just chilling next to Destiny while she's doing this live stream. But they, at the very least, seem to be able to acknowledge that that's, like, what's up, right? Like, Destiny knows what's up. She knows that she's taking this time out of her day and that her fiancé is sitting right next to her, and her fiancé is very aware of it too. And Destiny's not trying to act like she's got some kind of special relationship where she's only spending her Saturday with her fiancé and then acting like she's not having this conversation right now, you know? Like, how Amberlynn missed that point, I don't know. But of course, at this point, Amberlynn has to, I don't know, take some time to switch up her feelings about me once again to use me as a prop for her narrative about how, like, I'm allegedly, like, a good example of a reaction channel, even though she hates me.
And you know what? I'm gonna give Zachary props because he's the only one that can speak up on your bullshit. Literally the only one.
Ow.
So round of freaking applause, Zachary Michael. Well, because when this whole thing first started, that is when I was still watching him. And he was calling you out on your bullshit. And I was like, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I thought you had beef with him.
I'm not, I don't see things in black and white. I can dislike someone but still agree or disagree with some of the things that they do. Reaction channels don't know how to do that.
And all I gotta say is, Bestie, don't bring me into this, because when you want to talk about people who were actually enjoying their Saturdays with their partners, that was me, Bestie. That was me. I was at a Rachel Bloom comedy show here in Chicago with Noel enjoying my Saturday, okay? So don't bring me into this. I was enjoying my Saturday. But also, I just want to point out that she acknowledges in that clip that she did, in fact, watch me at the beginning of Destiny's little live stream situation, which, if you'll recall, she adamantly was saying on Instagram at the time that she didn't watch any reaction channels. Like, the way she cannot just stick to any lie whatsoever. Plus, mind you, also at the same time, on Instagram, she was also calling me a horrible human, saying that I was gross, saying that the people in my community were gross. So honestly, Bestie, I save your compliments. I don't need your compliments, Amberlynn Reed. In fact, the only time you ever compliment me is when it fits your narrative. So let's talk about twisting things and things like that. I do not need to be used in your narrative against Karina Kaboom. Leave me out of that, Bestie. And then the last reaction channel she decides to come for is Oh Lordy, It's Jordy. And it's for the egregious error of living with his mom.
And I know Jordy is one of them ones who are just constantly sticking up for the roommate, saying how it's our fault that Gracie went out. No, bitch. When you share a home with someone, which I'm pretty sure Jordy still lives with his mom, but we don't have to get into that.
And I'm just like, Bestie, like, I don't think this is the drag you think it is, because, well, first of all, I don't know if he lives with his mom or not, but first of all, you fully lived with, like, your partner's parents for long extended periods of time during the history of your channel. So, like, how does it make any sense for you to hate on anybody for having to live with a parent or whoever, whatever? Not to mention that, like, in lots of families, it's totally normal to continue living with your parents, either to help take care of them or just for them to, like, help you get you on your feet or whoever, whatever. Like, it's a really normal thing for people to, like, continue living with their family at all ages. But also, somebody does later make that same point that I just made, which is like, girly, you totally lived with your partners. And her response was just so silly, because it was basically like, well, I can say that because of all of the things he says about me, he's so hypocritical.
Because of everything that he says about me. He acts like he lives this, like, adventurous, like, amazing life, talks shit that I get takeout, but yet he gets takeout. talk shit that I like to, chill at home and do things, but yet he plays World of Warcraft all the time. Like, the list can go on. He's just nothing but a hypocrite. But what? I just don't fuck with hypocrites. And I don't mess with people who, they dislike someone, so then they automatically just dislike every single thing that a person does. Like, it's so fake. I hate people like that.
Like, first of all, what a weak-ass argument, and does not defend your initial point of, like, him being a bad person for living with his mom at all. But also, like, you brought up the things about, like, him criticizing you for not, like, going out and doing things in the world and things like that. But, like, he can literally do all of those things while he lives with his mom. I don't understand what any of that has to do with anything. And I gotta be honest, something tells me that just as easily as she can use Jordy living with his mom as an insult to him, she would find a way to insult me for owning a home. You know, like I don't think that there's a good living situation for her, and if you're somebody that she just doesn't like. You know, that's how I feel about it. So anyways, that was all of the reaction channel tea. Now we'll go back into just her general conversations of fighting and arguing with Miss Destiny about all the things that were happening. Throughout the whole stream, she actually makes multiple jokes about Destiny owing her half of the AdSense money that she gets from this live stream.
Anything else? Because I swear to you, this is it. Like, have fun making money on this phone call. If you'd like, give me half, like, from everything.
Give you half? Don't even start with your shit. How are you in a good relationship?
I need you to admit how much money I have spent on you. Now, that's the tea. That is the real tea.
I don't care how much money you say you spent on me. You made plenty of money off of me.
Uh-huh. And you've gotten all of it. Like, I'm just a money-given type of girly.
And she also talks about how she wants Destiny to admit how much money Amberlynn has spent on her. And I don't think these are the points or jokes that she really wants to be making, considering that a large critique of both of her past two relationships with Destiny and Becky is that she utilized them both for views and content on YouTube and then held the money she made over their heads as good pieces of, like, well, you have to be my friend, you have to like me, you have to do this, you have to do that. Like, I don't think these are the points you're wanting to make right now, Amberlynn Reid. And whatever money Amberlynn chose to spend on Destiny was Amberlynn's prerogative. Like, she always claimed she was doing that out of the goodness of her heart. And that's actually what Destiny at the beginning of all of this also said about Amberlynn. She said, Amberlynn has a really big heart and just wants to be able to pay for things for people she cares about. And the way that Amberlynn has taken that and flipped it and made it very clear that she wasn't doing it from a good place in her heart, and that she does expect Destiny, even to this day, to treat her some type of way because of the money she gave her, is just wild to me. One thing that I found to be weird was Amberlynn making a point to talk about how she feels like this could be disrespectful to Wifey for her to be on this phone call with Destiny, and also, like, says some stuff about fiance number 3.
Do you have anything else to say?
I want to respect my partner. Like, she doesn't tell me what to do by no means, but, like, I feel like this might be slightly disrespectful. Like, I don't know, though. I mean, it seems like she's fine with it, but, like, I wish that you would also respect your fiance in the same way, and I really hope that you don't cheat on her.
And I have to say, if you think that it might be disrespectful to Wifey, then why are you still on this phone call, girly? Why? Because this was at about, like, 19 minutes into the stream. The stream was nearly an hour long. So she stayed on for, like, an additional 40 minutes after this point, after acknowledging out loud that she could see a world where Wifey might think it was disrespectful. Which, speaking of Wifey, Destiny does ask Amberlynn why she pretends like Wifey is two separate people, and notes that she's asking because Becky told her it was the same person.
Why did you lie about the person you're with and say it's been two different people and it's not?
I didn't lie.
Come on now. It's already out there. Becky already told me. It's all out there.
It's also out there all kinds of bullshit lies that don't even make any sense about me. Like, rumors are rumors. That's exactly that.
It wasn't a rumor. Becky said you literally moved her in there with you when Becky was still living there.
That is a lie, says Maury.
Says what?
Becky was not living here.
And I will say just one real quick thing about Becky, but the way that they both continue talking about Becky throughout this live stream is just a little cringe to me, because the most recent thing we know from Becky is just that Becky doesn't really want to be on the internet involved like this. And it feels just like weird that they keep going back and forth about Becky and talking about Becky and bringing Becky up. But also, regardless of the Becky thing, I don't know why Amberlynn insists on lying about this particular thing. Like, this specific point is just so dumb. Like, we've been here the whole time, and I really thought she was no longer really pretending about it, and like she was just more so ignoring the fact that like she once upon a time said that they were two different people. But now it's clear to me that she still is living in Delulu land, wanting us to believe that there were two separate girlfriends, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It's stupid. And I will say, well, it's Becky's fault for most of the things that have happened in Amberlynn's life, according to her. It is Destiny's fault that Amberlynn couldn't enjoy her smoothie.
My smoothie is melted now, so.
You could have been eating it, drinking it, whatever in it.
No, I wasn't able to enjoy it. I'm trying to be a healthy queen.
So Destiny does end up bringing up the weight loss surgery questions again and asks her why people are saying, like, she got denied for weight loss surgery.
Well, why would people make up something saying that you're saying it's my fault that you, like, regressed in this weight loss surgery journey? If you didn't say that.
I have not posted on any social media besides YouTube. So if you need to, for clarification, go watch my videos on ×2 speed to see that I have not talked about weight loss surgery or you.
Why is everyone saying you got denied for it?
Because people are spreading lies that aren't even real. I did not get denied for weight loss surgery on period.
Are you still going to go through with it?
I will talk about my weight loss surgery on my channel.
And it's just so irritating to me that every time that Amberlynn gets confronted with anything on her channel, it's always, well, people are spreading lies and rumors. Like, you're just believing these lies and rumors that people are spreading. And I don't disagree that people are, like, spreading their own speculation and rumors and things like that, because up until this point, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if she said something in today's video or not, but like, I'm pretty sure she hasn't specifically said anything about what's going on with weight loss surgery. But again, I just want to point out that she only cares about this when people are spreading the lies and rumors about herself. If it's somebody that's coming into her DMs and telling her about Destiny, telling her about me, telling her about any of the reaction channels, then she automatically believes them. Or at least that's what I have to believe, because she says she doesn't watch our videos. So she's not doing the research herself, and she's just believing whatever people in her DMs are telling her. So she's either not watching us, not doing her own research, and just believing the lies and rumors that people tell her, or she's watching her videos. Like, it's just so fucking maddening to me. She also deflects about the weight loss surgery stuff by just saying, like, she'll talk about her own weight loss journey on her own channel. And to me, that says just about everything we need to know, because if she was still going through the process, I imagine she probably would have just been like, yeah, I'm still working on it. And to me, this says, no, I'm not still working on it, and I'm not getting weight loss surgery, and I'm gonna go pursue something else. I will say Destiny is pretty quick with some comebacks.
Someone asked if whoever you're dating is going to make an appearance in a video.
Nope. Because look at the community. I don't want to put her in that.
Oh, you don't want to put her in that, but you put everyone else.
And while that is very true, like that is a good point to make, I will say I've been consistently very supportive of Amberlynn keeping wifey and or anybody that she doesn't want the internet to interact with off of her YouTube channel. And surprisingly, it's like the one boundary she's been able to keep on her channel. So to some extent, I guess maybe you could give her some kudos for that. And I think the other point that Amberlynn makes that's fair is that also, like, Destiny and Becky in the past consented to being on camera, and that's just something that wifey doesn't want to do, which I think is also a very fair point. But because she made that point, Destiny wants to know more about why wifey doesn't want to be on YouTube, and Amberlynn makes these, like, weird claims that wifey's a grown woman and, like, doesn't have social media and this, that, the other.
Because she's a grown-ass woman. She doesn't want to be on the internet. She doesn't have social media.
Which I'm so glad Destiny followed up with if she doesn't have any social media, how did y'all allegedly meet then?
Then how did y'all meet if she doesn't have social media?
Why is it any of your business?
It's just saying.
Like,
it doesn't make any sense. If she had social media then, but she doesn't now.
She doesn't have social media at all.
And again, just these lies that Amberlynn continues to commit to when it comes to wifey are just, like, so silly to me because, like, nearly everything that most of the people on the internet know about wifey are because of Amberlynn. Like, Amberlynn was teasing her name out in titles of live streams, was telling us that when she was coming to visit and this, that, the other. Like, all of these things we know about her, including that wifey slid into Amberlynn's DMs, are all because of Amberlynn. And the last thing I really want to point out and share and note for you all is that Destiny just, like, was absolutely sending me by not understanding the OBCD joke.
What does OBCD stand for?
It stands for fat shaming.
That's not what the letters are.
Oh, I'm dead.
Someone asked if you ever got diagnosed with it. What does it stand for?
It's obesity. Like OBESITY.
I said OBCD.
Wait, did I spell that right?
You spelled obesity right, but it was OBCD.
OBESI.
No, someone asked if you ever got diagnosed with O, B as in boy, C as in cat, D as in dog.
Yes, like it stands for obesity. They're fat shaming.
I guess I don't understand.
Like, truly, 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 Kentucky has given the internet its smartest and brightest lesbians for our entertainment. And, I don't know if I have a lot of things to be grateful for when it comes to Kentucky, but that's certainly one of them. And that's about all that I have. There were, like, plenty of other awkward moments. I mean, they rehashed the fucking Code Red thing 12 more times. And there's also lots of times where there was just, like, awkward silence where neither of them were saying anything. It was a really weird vibe. It was also very entertaining. Like, I will say, with some of the more entertaining or interesting things that have happened in Amberlynn's corner of the internet in a while. And I do also, that's sans her being, like, a nasty person about Destiny's brother. I think that was just disgusting. But outside of that, the things that happened, I think, were fairly entertaining and did bring a smile to my face today while I was catching up on what happened. But that, I think, is all I have time for today. Like I said, I will also get caught up on Amberlynn's vlogs, so expect maybe a video about that tomorrow or the next day or sometime this week. So be on the lookout, but otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. Click the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. Leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all of my social media. I love you all so, so much, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye!